everybody. 7 o'clock, part of the Las Vegas Fantasy Football Conference going down September 2nd at Ellis Island, the front yard inside Ellis Island. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football Safe Space brought to you by Fantasy Shot Callers, also by the way of Melon. Brother Fox, how are you doing?
And I'm well. As the X factor of this podcast, you know what I'm saying? I'm here to come with the heat, baby. That's all it is. Strictly flames, baby.
Big E, what does he mean by the X factor?
Hey, I don't know, man. If I never see a Chiefs logo again, it'll be too soon, man. But you know how it is, people, they're a little crazy. Like the Lakers, they try to say they're coming back for, you know what I'm saying?
You see the Sports Illustrated behind me?
Yeah, I heard it. But yeah, hey, it's Big E. Hey, blessed and highly favored as always. Seven, it's always a pleasure to see you and Fox, man. Let's get it. Let's talk.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But before we get started, Brother Fox, how can the good folks take care of us?
As always, y'all can give us that HBO special. If you don't know, the HBO special is the Help a Brother Out special. So help some brothers out. Hit that like button, subscribe. It truly goes a long way, and we appreciate each and every one of y'all.
There it is. What are you gentlemen sipping on tonight, if anything at all?
I did a little red label, some red label. I pulled out the cut, you know what I'm saying. But I took a couple swigs and I left it. I set it down. Got to get up early in the morning, so
Hey, there you go.
Eastern Standard Time a little different.
Well, being as I'm out in Napa Valley, I got to represent Napa Valley. Got a little wine in a can, some rosé, keeping it classy here on a Monday.
Nice.
Okay.
Your boy Seven sipping on some sangria.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, hey, that's good. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with this sangria. Hey, better watch it.
Yeah, it'll slip up on you. It'll sneak up on you.
Leave the tears.
Let's get into some fantasy talk, man. Let's talk about the mock drafts that we've recently had and what we've taken from it. And what, Biggie, since I was just talking to you, what is your favorite position that if you could have a favorite position, you could draft from anywhere in all of your leagues, where are you choosing to draft based off the information you've gathered so far?
Okay. Well, if I could choose where I drafted, I think, like I said, the 6th spot for me. Even though, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times I like, you know what I'm saying, I don't like so much first picks because, you don't know who's going to bust. It's like the first pick always busts. I don't know. With Taylor, I'm kind of, a little iffy with that. But and then I like the late picks, of course, because you can do the turn. I'm not going to take everybody's, spot, but like the 6th pick, it always keep you engaged. Your pick is always coming back up. You gotta, you get a feel for it. For me, I think if I got a first pick, I'll quit paying attention. I might start looking, at something else or whatever. And then next, it's my pick, and I got 2 picks, and then it's too much of a reach either way. But the 6th pick, then you can see where Robinson, Bijan Robinson, where he's going, because he's all over the board. You might see him later, you might see him early. So I like to see how the flow of the draft is. If a quarterback's going to come off early, So for me, it's about the 6th pick.
For sure.
Well, I would say for myself, it all depends on who you're drafting with, If you're someone who's, drafting with other fantasy football elites.
We ain't trying to hear all that shit. Where are you trying to draft, bro?
Let me
draft.
Let me land. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
So what I mean to say by that is, before I was interrupted, was that ultimately, like, if you're playing against people who haven't been doing mock drafts and stuff, most people will lead by the previous examples of drafting running backs early, whereas wide receivers are going highly favored, as Big E would say, in these mock drafts that we've gone through. I would say I would lean towards the end of the draft, and the reason being is you could definitely scoop up potentially 2 fantastic wide receivers, which might win you your fantasy football league.
I could dig it. I like the back end of the draft, like 9-10. I think you can get some really good talent. Maybe you get a Kelsey or a Cooper Kupp, like Brother Fox was mentioning, a top tier receiver. I think you can still get a stud running back in the 2nd round, which kind of brings us to our second topic, which is I'm going to throw out some names for you guys. Tell me how you would rank these running backs. We have Najee Harris of Pittsburgh, Obviously, they rebuilt the offensive line. Pickett is in his second year. You've got Brees Hall coming off the ACL injury. Should have a healthy offensive line, and he's got a new quarterback to open up, keep the defenses honest. Then you got Ramondre Stevenson, who does have James Robinson in the backfield, but there's no more Damian Harris. It seems like it's his backfield to lose, and he did finish last year as an RB8. How would you rank, or who would you guys rather have? Say you do take a receiver in the first round. Which running back do you want, Brother Fox, first out of the three names listed?
Let's see. Out of those three names listed, I feel the one with the most potential would be Najee, being that they rebuilt that offensive line. I feel like he's definitely going to have a hell of a year. But personally, even before Najee, I would take somebody like Josh Jacobs from the Raiders. They showed
he's still there.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
In most drafts, he's going like mid to late second.
Okay.
So I feel like even though he was the Russian champ last year, he's still kind of disrespected, and the team put him on a franchise tag this year. He still hasn't got that big contract yet, so he's gonna come out here eating.
True. I think if I have to choose, like you said, out of those three, I would have to go Najee. But a close second, is Ramondre. Like you said, Robinson. He starting to be a blue tent boy. He in there. You know what I'm saying? He in the blue tent class. So Ramondre, that said a lot. Them not drafting a running back, or if they did, it was later. I didn't see or picking up anybody as of yet. So we'll see. But Ramondre that's a big boy. He talented, man. He really is talented, and he can catch. He got hurt kind of in the final games, hurt some people in their fantasy leagues, but at least he came back in. He tried, not to be a blue tent boy. So I got to give you kudos for that. And that's what made me beat you, Fox. You know what I'm saying? I got to throw that out there. That's what Fox was going to beat me. I got to give him that. But you know what I'm saying? He did come out and attempt. But if Harris not on his heels anymore, I feel like that he's going to shine. He's going to get his numbers. So I think Najee, then I'll go Ramondre for me.
What's up, Albert, man? Hopefully you're doing well. That's for those that don't know, that's our legendary
Albert
member.
That's what's up.
So, Big E, you're saying that you're comfortable having Ramondre Stevenson as your RB1?
It depends on who I would like to get him in the third. I'm not going to even lie, and I feel like he will fall, if it's an early third. But if I went double wide receiver, but just what I'm seeing the pattern is, in a lot of drafts for people, then I would be very comfortable with him being my, my RB1 in the third. You know what I'm saying? I'd probably go another RB right after that in the fourth.
How about you, Seven? What you talking about?
Well, I was going to say, would you guys consider going if you had the 12-13 turn, or even if you're in a 14 league, would you go double running back? Would you go Josh Jacobs 12 and a Najee 13? Or is receivers at full PPR, because I think that's just the standard now? Or would you guys still stick to your guns and maybe get a Tyreek Hill Najee or a Tyreek Hill Jacobs? Or what are you guys thinking? If you're on that 12 spot right now, what are you doing?
Go ahead, Fox. You got it.
I'm going Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams.
Ooh.
That sounds pretty good. Go ahead.
He just asked you if you were comfortable with Stevenson being the RB1. So who's your RB1?
I'll figure it out.
Ooh.
Because I learned last year. I went running back heavy last year. I went running back first 3 rounds. And on paper, I was stacked at the running back position. I had Nick Chubb. I had Josh Jacobs. I had all the elite running backs that put up great numbers. But I was losing to teams that had receivers that were frequently getting 10 to 13 targets a game.
Yeah.
And even if they're having mild production, 60 yards, 7 catches, 1 tub, it's better than a running back that puts up 150 yards.
Yeah.
Unless you have a running back that is consistently getting in the end zone every single week, it is better to draft a receiver. Learn from my faults last year. I went running back heavy in a lot of drafts, and unfortunately, it did not work out.
Right.
Same question to you, Big E.
Yeah, hey, I'm with them. I mean, like you said, I mean, still Kelsey, Kelsey still got some tread on the tire. I would go with a Kelsey, maybe a Tyreek Hill.
He
Or
ain't making it to
He ain't
12.
making it 12. Yeah.
he ain't gonna make it to
Mm-mm.
12, but I'm just saying if people are, what I'm saying, you never know in some drafts. Some people are getting quarterbacks, some people are, and then I mean you have a run on quarterbacks. You never know. Not in the leagues I most time draft in, but I have seen it happen. So I mean, for me, I will go, a wide receiver. I mean, times have changed. You're not gonna see the double running back. If you do, this will be the last year that people do it because, like you said, you get 13 catches, you get a running back at 150 yards. You know what I'm saying, and no catches. And no
Oh, that's a
touchdowns.
valid point.
Yeah, no touchdowns. They got 150. They got 15 points, and then you got somebody got 15 catches for 30 yards. They got more points than them. So I mean, obviously, that's who you playing in your flex. That's who you play it. So I mean, this will be the last year you'll see double running back if anybody does. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, feel like I'd take a Tyreek and maybe a Brees Hall. I know there's an ACL injury involved, but I'm really big on him. He started to catch fire with Zach Wilson, Mike White, and Flacco in the backfield. So with healthy Vera Tucker and Becton and Aaron Rodgers, I think he could be filthy. It's kind of early, but the 13th, but he's not going to be there when you draft at 35 or 36. So
now, do you think that Brees Hall's numbers are going to be affected by Aaron Rodgers?
I think they're going to be better.
Really?
Now you can't stack the box.
True.
You weren't afraid of Zach Wilson. At least I wasn't.
No.
Like hell, the Bills could have had me at cornerback, and I would have been all right. Put me in for what's my man who played for what's his name? Davis? No, is it Trey? I'm blanking on his name. He got injured. Really good corner. He can't stay healthy to save his life.
I know what you're talking about. He used to play for the Chargers and the Niners. I know.
You know Fox, no.
I can't.
Right. Hey, come on, X Factor.
I know that's. You know what?
I know exactly who you're talking about too. Hey, I'll have it before the end of the show, though.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers only opens things up because now you can't focus on the run game because you weren't afraid of the passing game last year. So we'll see what the Jets end up doing. Third round, you got some quality receivers. Should you go running back? Which guy are you comfortable with having as your wide receiver one? Higgins, Waddle, or DK? All pretty much have that ECR in the in the mid 20s to early 30s. That third round, that 24 to 36.
I start with me. I mean, I would say I'm going with Waddle. I'm gonna go with Waddle. Yeah, I mean, you got DK, but then they got Smith in the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they got him in the draft. I just think that Waddle. I mean, it's still a Tyreek Hill fest most of the time. When you know it's a Tyreek Hill fest, but Waddle does eat. So I mean, if I had to go in the third with a third round picking, those are the ones I had to pick. I would go with Waddle. DK to me, I don't know. He's sometime. So Waddle too, but not as much as DK.
Now you said Waddle, DK, and who was the third?
Higgins.
I feel when it comes to Higgins, albeit he is a light hue of blue, that Charger blue tint.
Sprinkle.
I feel like this man has a lot to prove this year. It's like this is a contract year for him. They're gonna have to resign not only Burrow, they're gonna have to resign Chase very soon, as well as his contract's gonna be coming up. So if he wants to be in that conversation of that long-term extension and not like being franchise tagged for a year just to string him along, this man's gonna need to ball out. Similar to how we were saying last year, follow the money. Well, when like we said it about Jalen Hurts, that Jalen Hurts needed to ball out, otherwise his situation was gonna drastically change. That man this year, Higgins.
That was a popular trend last year. If it was a contract year, the player balled out, or if it's a player who just got a contract and had something to prove, like a AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, all three of those gentlemen ate, and had something to prove, especially to the teams that let them go. Albert has a question for us. He says, Where are you comfortable where are you guys comfortable taking Bijan Robinson? Man, one of the most talked about players in the league right now, especially in the fantasy football realm. Talented running back, Big E, get in there where you feel comfortable.
For me, I mean, like I said, I mean, what was the draft? We saw he went third. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable going there, and I think he's going to catch a lot of balls. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I think he's going to catch a lot of balls. I think he's going to have kind of like a Saquon Barkley type of year. But Saquon caught a lot of dump balls, and I think that's what Atlanta's going to do a lot with Robinson. But for me, I think with us just talking about how drafting has changed, and I would take him if I had the 8th pick. I would take him. I would take him. It depends on what wide receivers is there, but I would feel comfortable taking him there with the 8th pick in the draft.
Brother Fox?
I can't do it. I can't do the running back in the first round. I can't. It's just you're setting yourself up for failure unless you have a high frequency running back like a Saquon Barkley or someone like a McCaffrey coming in with the injured quarterback situation. Like I would take him mid to late second, but he's not going to be there. You're going to have people who are going to reach for him, which is fine. That's fine. Mm-hmm. It's saving you from the heartache, Albert. Just saving you. It's not that he's going to be talented. He's going to put up numbers. He's knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. The kid is talented, absolutely. But for what people are paying in fantasy football right now for him, mid to late first rounds as well as like early seconds, I wouldn't do it.
Well, let me ask you this though, Fox, because you said you could get wide receivers in the later rounds, which it is it's a plethora, as you say, a plethora of wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what would stop you from getting him? You know what I'm saying? Kind of early, seeing that he's a catching, running back. Now he catches balls. It ain't like he can't catch.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say eighth is highest for me. I mean, but I mean, then you got a turn coming right back around.
My only issue, sure, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a multi-talented running back, absolutely. And like as a prospect, he's generational type of talent. Yeah. But he's going into a situation that they don't have an offensive line.
True.
They have one receiver on the outside. They have a tight end that's out there fighting for his life.
Yes.
After struggling last year, I feel like he's going to face a lot of 8-man boxes. I feel like the receivers, the Drake Londons and the Kyle Pittses are going to benefit from him because he's going to have 8 men in the box as opposed to the opposite. Plus, with the quarterback like Desmond Ridder, like what are we talking about? This is a practice quarterback. We're talking about the game, right? We're not talking about practice.
I like Ridder. I like Ridder. Honestly, I think that Ridder looked better. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to be a pretty good quarterback. He can run too. I like to see
Ridder guarantees that the Atlanta Falcons are going to have a top 5 pick next year, so that they can go grab Mays or go grab Williams. Like that's Atlanta knows what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Right. Well, I think May is overrated too, myself. And I've seen him play. And I mean, he's over here in Carolina, blue Carolina blue tent. Hey, Carolina blue tent.
Would you guys say the situation that Robinson is going into is similar to that of Breece Hall last year? Granted, the Jets' old line was a better offense line, but they did sustain injuries. Really, no competent quarterback play. You have a stud talent. Obviously, Hall was a second-round pick and not a top 10 pick. But it looks like kind of similar situations bearing the injuries that the Jets O-line sustained. It's kind of the same situation. I'll take Robinson in the top 9. I made my mind up. I think it was last week. I was thinking 8 or 9, so that's funny that you came up with 8.
Right.
Biggie, I'm kind of in the same boat. They spent the capital on him, and they're going to run him into the ground. I expect nothing less than 400 touches, 390 up easily, and they're lining them up in the slot. They're putting them all. They're going to try to put the ball in his hands. I don't think he'll have the Saquon rookie year because that was a magical year, but I could see 1,600 rushing yards, maybe 300-400 yards receiving. I don't think the touchdowns will be there, but the receptions should be in the 60s. I think Saquon had 91 or 92 receptions his rookie year. I could see 60 to 70, which is like Brother Fox said, made a great point. You know, running back has 100 rushing yards. Receiver has 10 receptions. He's already done that without counting the yards. But I think that talent and just getting a workhorse running back is still valued. I need at least one. Whether I get it in the first round or second round, I need at least one.
I look at it like this. When it comes to Bijan Robinson, Bijan is walking into a situation like Adrian Peterson did in 2007, coming in for the Vikings. The Vikings had absolutely nothing on offense. They had Tavares Jackson at quarterback. Like, when you don't have the quarterback, sure, you're going to be able to get some touches, but is Bijan Robinson, Adrian Peterson coming out of Oklahoma? Does he run with that fight and that gall to get every inch of yard? Like, unless he does, because he's going to be hit a lot in the backfield. He's going to I just don't see it.
You don't like the New Orleans defense twice? You don't like Carolina's defense twice? Buccaneers defense is far removed from that Super Bowl. I mean, he's not playing in the AFC North or even the AFC East, where like he's got to go up against the Dolphins, the Belichick defense, that Buffalo defense. I think he's got a pretty cakewalk of a schedule. They picked in the top 10, so they're not playing the best teams. You know, they're not going to play the Eagles unless they're playing the NFC East.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel the dump offs. You know, for me, I think that, you know, you're going to try to run them. Obviously, they're going to load the box. So, I mean, I don't think they loaded the box as much with Saquon as they would have did their second year when they saw what Saquon was. But I think that the dump offs, once they try to run them and they see that the box is stacked, then I think that everybody's going to eat, you know, as far as passing. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to get several dump offs. Like I said, 70, maybe 80. I mean, you know, he said Saquon got 90. So, I mean, 80 is not out of the, you know, possibility, or the high 70s.
Well, Saquon had LBJ on the outside. You know, they had a competent offensive line. It's a different situation he's walking into.
I got
Eli was trash. Eli was trash.
If it's not too early, let's put in our claims.
Okay.
If he plays, let's say a full season is 16. I know it's a 17-game season. Okay. But let's say, you know, running back may miss one game. If he plays 16 games, where does he finish? Is he going to finish as a top 5 RB, top 10, or let's say a RB1, top 12? Where do we have Bijan Robinson? Go ahead and get in there, Brother Fox, since you're not the biggest believer in him, or at least in his ECR is.
I would say Bijan Robinson finishes the year 1,100 yards rushing, maybe 1,150, 6 touchdowns, 35 catches out the backfield for 250 yards, 1 tub from the receiving game.
What running back does he finish as? The RB14 at that? RB13. Oh,
good gracious.
Big E, what you got? Right. That was damn near disrespectful.
I feel like I said, it depends. I mean, you know, I kind of similar. I think like 12, at least give them, you know, 1,250, you know, rushing yards. But I think about 60 receptions at least, you know what I'm saying? And I give them, you know, 4 or 5.
How many running backs went over 1,200 yards last year?
How many? You tell me. Fact man.
So Derrick Henry,
the fat guy.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. You had Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
And I believe there's one more. Nick Chubb. That's it.
And I'm surprised with Chubb, but I'm just saying. I think he got more talent. I mean, I think Josh Jacobs, to me, I'm a Raider fan. We were gonna run him into the ground just in case, you know, we weren't gonna keep him, but we did. But at the same time, I think he has that much talent. I think that he can do it. And like I said, even if it's 11, I think he's going to have the 60 receptions, which will help out in the PPR. You know, obviously.
His head coach is the former OC of the Tennessee Titans when Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards. Not saying he's Derrick Henry, but I think they're going to run him into the ground. I don't see him finishing under RB8. It's RB8 or under for me.
I was going to say RB8.
Over 8. We'll record this. We'll make a snippet, and then we'll see who. What'd you have, Big E? Did you say? I said 8. He said 13.
I was going to say, honestly, because I said, you know, when I drafted him 8, I was gonna say that. I think
RB8. Okay.
You said Ramondre. Ramondre was right there at 8, so I can see him giving Ramondre production. Easily.
Okay. We'll see. Time will tell at the end of the season. We'll come back to this.
Okay.
Brother Fox, how can good folks take care of us?
As always, y'all can give us that HBO special, that help a brother out special. Help some brothers out. Hit that like button, subscribe. Keep coming with the questions. We always appreciate any and all participation.
For sure. Once again, shout out to the fantasy football, the fantasy shot callers. Shout out to the Melon app. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do so well. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe. It goes a lot further than you guys realize, and we appreciate it. We got 3 more minutes. What y'all want to talk about? Y'all want to get back into this Bijan talk? Y'all want to talk?
I got one question.
Oh, I'll take Higgins, by the way. Y'all don't ask me how I feel about things, but I'll take Higgins. Yeah. I'll take Higgins since my daughter and the dog ask how I'm feeling. I'll take Higgins.
Hey, well, look, Higgins, like I said, Higgins got like the same production he had his rookie year. You know what I'm saying? And he's a freak of nature, but it's just like I don't think that they're going to keep him. With Chase's contract coming up, like I said, Burrow's contract coming up, I just don't see a way they can keep him and pay him what he think he deserves, because he's not. I don't know. This is the year. Like Fox, like you said, this is the year. If he don't do it this year, he's not going to get paid. Not in Cincy anyway.
So my question was this. Now, last year when we were discussing
he froze.
Drafting of quarterbacks, your best bet was to wait until about the 6th to 7th round, and you could get a quality quarterback at that time. This year, obviously, it's changed. You know, with the notion of receivers getting boosted up higher, a lot of people are trying to get that those extra points with a high-end quarterback play. We saw in our draft, hell, we had 3 quarterbacks going the 2nd round.
Crazy. And 1 on the turn, so 4 in the top 25 picks.
For you guys, what do you feel for the 2023 draft? When would you feel comfortable taking your quarterback?
Earliest 5th round, but I like the 6th. I like Trevor Lawrence in the 6th, but if Lamar is there, I'll take Lamar in the 5th.
Right, I'll take Lamar in the 4th. I think I did in the draft. I think I did in the draft, honestly. But I said, it depends, how the draft is flowing.
You took him in the 5th in the draft.
I'll take him in the 5th. I went ahead and like I said, I think I go 3 wide receivers and a running back, and then I took Lamar.
Yep.
I believe so. So that's why I feel comfortable. That's good value. That's great value to me. I think that, Lamar's going to have a good year. He's got paid, so he shouldn't have any excuse to sit out the last 2 or 3 games with a knee injury. He probably could have came back from. But he wanted his money, and he got it. So I think that's a safe pick. I did take Pat Mahomes in that other draft, just trying to see how things panned out, like in the 2nd round. But I was talking to some guys, ones that I work with, that they said, they're taking Pat Mahomes in the 1st round. Now, that's not how we roll.
Yeah.
That's not how we roll.
If he was a running quarterback, sure.
Yeah.
But
he's going to throw it. He's going to give you the passing yards. He's going to give you the touchdowns. Yeah. Obviously, and a lot of times, when you play a team and they got Pat Mahomes, you're like, yo, I hope he don't have one of those weeks.
Right.
Honestly, when I see it, I'm like, yo, and I always feel, because just like Kelsey at tight end, when you draft Mahomes, you feel so comfortable at quarterback, man. You really do.
It's funny because it'd be like Saturday night and you look at your matchups and it's like, okay, or it'd be like Thursday night football, and you look and like, God damn, he got Pat.
Right.
And they play Las Vegas. God.
Look, now now you hitting below the belt, my brother. Hey, watch that, homie. Watch that. Hey, but yeah, especially this year if they play in Las Vegas, put your money on Kansas City. I am. That's sad to say with a Raiders side right here.
What about you, Brother Fox, before we get out of here?
I agree with you guys. Like 4th, 5th round to me. I got nervous only because I took my quarterback in the 5th round. I think all 3 of us did.
What's the quarterback you took?
I took Dakota Allen Prescott. All right.
Woo!
Because Justin Fields went, and then Lamar went, and then 7 took Trevor Lawrence, And I
Right.
jumped the gun and I took Dak Prescott. Looking back, I probably would have took Aaron Rodgers. I should have took Aaron Rodgers.
You should have
but
taken
I
a
didn't.
quarterback. You should have taken Rodgers like round 8.
Yeah. It's like at that point I should have recognized like the board was clearing up and I needed to adjust my, get my RB2 at that point as opposed to jumping ahead to try to grab a quarterback in the 5th round.
Trevor Lawrence is the last quarterback of like that tier for
Yeah.
me. I mean, granted,
Yes.
Pat and those guys are elevated, but he's the last like guy I feel good about. I
Yeah.
could wait for Aaron Rodgers or maybe Trey Lance or even
Mhm.
Dak or hell, even Kirk Cousins. I'll wait until that 9th, 10th round to take my quarterback if I can't get him. If it don't make sense, I'm not gonna reach for one. But if it does
Facts.
not make sense, I'm comfortable waiting into the 8th, 9th, 10th round.
Yeah, I like what you said. I think that everybody's in agreement. I think that this year is going to be a big year for Trevor Lawrence. So if I can wait and get a Trevor Lawrence, I'm good. I'm good.
Mhm.
I get all my players, and the Trevor Lawrence is there. You know how right before that pick, you biting your your fingernails. You praying that they don't get that pick, but unless they drafted a quarterback already, and then you are already good. You know what I'm saying? But if I can get
Absolutely.
Trevor Lawrence, that's the last of the tier. So, Seven, you hit the nail right on the head with that, brother.
I feel
Yes,
it. I
sir.
feel it. Well, man, that concludes another episode of Fantasy Football Safe Space presented to you by the Fantasy Shot Callers. I'm 7 o'clock. This is Brother Fox. This is Big E. Man, we thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next Monday for our 3rd mock draft. Peace.
Go Chiefs.